In this video, we will provide a brief overview of the Defense of Asylum process. This guide is a collaboration between Reef Asylum Support and VIA, which is the Venezuelans and Immigrants Aid, and utilizes resources from ASAP, the Asylum Seeker Advocacy Project. So the first stage of the Defense of Asylum process usually begins with getting a notice to appear in court. A notice to appear is also known as an NTA, and it includes two very important things. First, where your court location is, and it will give you an A number or an alien number, and this number will stay with you throughout your case. If you've received an NTA, you can apply for asylum in immigration court. And if you have not received an NTA, we recommend calling the immigration court hotline, and the number is 800-898-7180. So to submit an asylum application, you complete these two steps. You submit Form I-589 in immigration court, and then you send a copy of the first 3 pages of this Form I-589 to USCIS in order to schedule your biometrics appointment. So your biometrics is fingerprinting and other biographical data, and it's important to get this data in before your individual hearing, which is your first court hearing. So you can also submit your asylum application in immigration court. They have a special location or window for it, and you don't need an attorney to come with you to drop this off at the window. The most important part to pay attention to when you're dropping this off is to make sure that you get a receipt or a stamp that is dated on your application. And this date's important because it's the start of your work permit clock. So you can apply for a work permit 150 days after submitting your application. So it's important to have documentation of when your application was submitted. And if you go to this window or to this location and your name is not in the court system, then you should submit your application with your local USCIS office and mail it in. And you can figure out where to file on the USCIS website, which we will put in the bio below. To go over the main part of the Defense of Asylum case, there's 2 main stages before you get a final decision from the judge. It'll be the master calendar hearing and the individual hearing. The master calendar hearing is the first hearing where they'll set a date with the judge. At this point, you can bring your asylum application into the courtroom, into this hearing. It's really important to note that if your hearing date is after the 1 year date when you entered the US, it's important to submit your asylum application before your hearing so that you respect the 1 year deadline. If you don't respect the 1 year deadline of applying for asylum, you could be put on the deportation list and have further complications with your case. So the second stage is the individual hearing, which is also known as the final hearing. This is where you'll be able to defend your case and you'll get a decision from the judge. It's important to note that the master calendar hearing can take place years before you actually get the final hearing. So you may have to wait a while before you get the final or individual hearing. But it's very important to make sure you always appear at court on the date they schedule. Please follow the court location and date mentioned in your NTA, even if you plan to move or are already moved. Not appearing in court can cause you to be put on the deportation list, which is known as absentia order of removal, and also your work permit can be permanently rejected. So it's really important to always appear in court. So a big question that people have during the defense of asylum process is how to find a lawyer, especially a free lawyer, and it can be very difficult since free lawyers are in high demand. So we will include some resources and where to find some pro bono attorneys, but it's also, we found that it's helpful to write a summary of your reasons for asking for asylum. And this helps lawyers make decisions more quickly and usually helps the process. So some people are paroled at the border. And if you're paroled at the border, then you can apply for your work permit right away using Form I-765 instead of waiting the 150 days. So work permit clocks, it's important to understand that the work permit clock starts right as you submit your asylum application, and you wait 150 days before you can apply for your work permit. If you move to another state, and you change your address and you change the court venue, you should apply for your work permit in your new immigration court location. This way it won't stop your asylum clock. And we will provide some of the steps of changing venue and changing address. So the change of address and requesting a new court location, there's 3 different forms you need to fill out to change your address and venue. There's the change of address form, and there's changing your address with ICE, and then there's changing your court location, which is the change of venue. You also need to submit EOIR form 33 and send to immigration court, the government attorney office, which is the immigration prosecutor, and ICE, if it's relevant to your case. If you're not sure where your immigration court is located, it's calling the immigration court hotline is a great resource to figure that out. Once again, it's important to note that changing address and changing court venue can impact your work permit clock. So we suggest waiting to apply for, if waiting to apply for asylum and your work permit at the new location, if you're about to move, so that you avoid stopping your work permit clock, because it can be complicated to go to the court and restart the clock in the new location. But if you have an upcoming hearing at court, then it could be worth it to consider waiting the 180 days and then requesting a change of court location, change of venue. This way you'll avoid the clock stopping. If you have any problems with restarting your clock, call the immigration hotline number, which is 800-898-7180, and then ask to speak with the person in charge of the work permit clock. So there's another category, and that's people who are under ICE supervision, or ISAP, which is the Intensive Supervision Appearance Program. So this is an alternative program to being detained in detention centers across the country. So ICE or ISAP will supervise you to make sure you appear at your asylum hearing. And it's very important to follow the instructions and appointments that they give you. They also may place a mandatory ankle bracelet, do home visits, and there's a cell phone app to check in on occasionally. So here we've included some of the resources about cell phone check-ins, ICE check-ins, and knowing your rights and making sure that you're following the instructions, but that your rights are respected. So we will post these in the bio as well, so you'll be able to look at these resources. And same with these. This is about the phone app and immigration and scheduling, and like checking to see when your court appearances are scheduled. So we'll also post these resources. So we'd like to thank you for watching, and thanks to our partner via NYC, and thanks for the resources from ASAP.